am Lavanya and I will be presenting my internship project titled as HomelyHub. So the overview of the internship. The internship provides hands-on experience in full stack web development to design and develop a responsive feature-rich application, implements user-friendly interface and efficient backend operations, strengthens understanding and deployment and integration, demonstrates teamwork, creativity and professional skill growth, focuses on learning modern web technologies and also the frameworks. So this internship helped me understanding how to build a complete web application from scratch using the MERN stack, and also the main focus was on developing responsive and feature-rich website and delivers a smooth user experience. It strengthened my understanding of how front-end and back-end technologies work together. Apart from technical skills, this project also helped me in improving team collaboration, version control and also the deployment practices. So the next is about the goals of internship. Gaining the proficiency in both front-end technologies like HTML, CSS and JS. Understanding how the MERN stack supports full stack development and also learning the project planning, documentation and version control, and improving debugging, optimization and collaboration skills, ability to create end-to-end web application. The goal was to gain strong command of front-end technologies like HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and learn how the MERN stack helps in building dynamic scalable applications. Debugging, testing and optimizing the code were also the key areas of learning. Most importantly, they gain confidence to develop end-to-end web application independently. So this internship gave me an environment to apply theoretical knowledge to real-time development challenges. And next is about architecture and design, which follows a client-server model using MERN stack and front-end built in React for modularity as well as reusability, and backend in Node.js, Express for API management. MongoDB stores and retrieves data efficiently, and also the responsive layouts using CSS Flexbox as well as Grid, and it also focuses on user-centric navigation flow. The architecture of project follows a client-server model using the MERN stack. On the client side, React manages the user interface and also the state, which ensures the modularity and also a reusability. On the server side, Node.js and Express.js handle all the API requests and routing and also business logic. The database layer as MongoDB, which is efficiently stores and retrieves data in JSON like format, focused on responsive layouts using CSS Flexbox and also Grid, so the websites adjust to any device screen. The design ensures smooth data flow, which is between the client server and database, enhancing the user experience. So the next is about the full stack web development, which combines front-end and back-end for complete web solutions. Also enables data flow between client and server seamlessly, which involves HTML, CSS, JavaScript and Node.js, Express, MongoDB, React, and also encourages API-driven architecture, supports scalability and flex deployment. So full stack development, which means the handling both client side as well as server side for web application, and it involves designing the UI, writing logic and connecting databases and ensuring seamless communication between all parts. So using JavaScript throughout the stack is simplified the learning curve, and also understand how data moves from user input as well as database storage and back to the user interface. So this approach is also scalable, which is a new feature can be added easily without breaking the structure also. And important of API driven development for reusability as well as integration. And the MERN stack. So MERN is defined as MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database that stores data as documents, whereas allowing flexible and fast queries. In Express.js, which acts as a backend framework that helps in building RESTful APIs. So for React, which manages the front end with the reusable components. Node.js, which provides JavaScript runtime to execute backend logic. So these four layers with JavaScript, meaning developers can work with the one language across the stack, and this uniformity improves productivity, performance as well as the scalability. And in this project where React sends a request to the Express APIs, and Express it interacts with the MongoDB, and a Node handles logic as well as communication. And HTML basics. HTML structures all web page content, which defines headings, paragraph, links and images. Every page starts with HTML head and body tags, forms the skeleton of every web page. So HTML advanced features. Semantic tags improve readability and search engine optimization. Forms handle user input and submission. Attributes like action, method and ID functionality ensures clean, accessible markup. HTML provides the structure for both web pages. It it's like the skeleton of a page, and you use elements like headings, web pages, paragraph images and hyperlinks to structure the content. So each page starts with the HTML head and body tags. Also the semantic tags like header, section and footer for clarity or for search engine optimization. And forms were added for the user input with the attributes such as action and method and ID to connect to the backend routes. So using this semantic HTML also improve the accessibility for the screen readers and also the search engines. So the CSS basics. CSS controls layout, color and typography, which forms inline, internal and external style sheets are used. So the selectors target specific elements, enhances design consistency across the pages. So external style sheets for cleaner code and consistent design, and selectors were used to target elements efficiently. With flexbox and grid, responsive layouts that adapt to mobile and desktop screens. Media queries were used to fine-tune the look for different screens sizes. And transition and hover effects added smooth user interaction. So the CSS enhanced the visual appeal as well as the UI user friendly. So the JavaScript fundamentals, which adds interactivity and dynamic behavior, runs directly in the browser, manipulates the DOM to update content instantly, controls elements like pop-up menus and forms. So the modern concept for JavaScript uses ES6 features like let or const, arrow functions and modules. Event listeners respond to the user actions. Async or await handles API calls efficiently, improves overall web functionality. So it controls the dynamic actions such as button clicks, pop-ups and form validation. Used ES6 features like arrow functions, templates, literals and modules to write cleaner code, and also the DOM manipulation was able to update content instantly without reloading pages. Async or await, which helped in the handling of API calls efficiently, and also the event listeners to make the site more interactive. So JavaScript served as a bridge between both the front-end visuals as well as back-end data. So the React basics component-based JavaScript library uses JSX to write HTML within JS, state and properties, manage data flow, provides high performance through the virtual DOM. React advanced features where the hooks like useState and also use effect handle logic, a React router which manages navigation between pages, reusable components, ensure cleaner code, and integrates easily with the external APIs. So React is a JavaScript library for building a dynamic user interface. It is a component-based structure which makes code reusable and organized. So the JSX which allows writing HTML directly with the JavaScript. Within the JavaScript, the virtual DOM which improves performance by updating only necessary parts to the pages. Then hooks like useState for managing state and use effects for handling side effects. React router helped navigate between multiple pages without reloading. Used Axios for API request and integrated React hook form for data validation. And implementation details, that is front end which is designed with UI with React components as well as CSS modules. Axios used to fetch and to send data via APIs, and validations were handled with the React hook form, ensure smooth user interaction and data binding. So backend, Node.js and Express.js manage server logic. MongoDB stores data securely using Mongoose. API endpoints tested with Postman. Deployment on Cursor or Netlify for the production. So the front-end implementation design the user interface using React components and as well as CSS modules. So Axios was used for making get and post request. The React hook form helped in validation, user input efficiently, and components were organized to make the user interface modular and also easy to maintain. Whereas the backend was built using Node.js and Express. MongoDB was Mongo's handled database operations like root, and API endpoints were tested using Postman, and middleware for error handling and route protection. Environment variables were used for secure configuration. The final application was deployed on Cursor, Netlify for front-end, render for back-end. So this is the HomelyHub project built using the MERN stack platform, and it lets the people to find and book the unique places to stay while traveling. Suppose it can be a room, home, or a fancy villa, and also a resort. Even hosts can also earn money by sharing their places, and designed to express the core functionalities of the HomelyHub platform. Here the MongoDB to store database and also the user data, while Express which handles the server side logic and also API endpoint. In with React building UI, providing dynamic and responsive experience of property listing and bookings using React. So this is a search destination. We can search for a particular places. This is a property list which has description for the particular place with name and also the maximum number of guests and what is the place offers. This is the amenities and the map with leaflet, and also it has extra information with check-in and check-out time and availability, and also the booking information and the images for the particular pages. Also it includes the filters which has price range, property type and room type, and also amenities. You can apply for filter like house, and amenities. Also there is a profile with full name and email address and also the join date, and we can edit the profile and also the password change. Edit profile, we can update the profile, and also the my bookings are available here, and my accommodation where we can add a new place to rent with no own house by providing information, and the information will be displayed on the first page. For booking, we should give the check-in and check-out date and number of guests based on the place, and name, and also the phone number. Then next step is to proceed for payment, and next is a confirming for the payment. Then in my bookings you can see the list of bookings. Without the creation of account, we are unable to book the places.